Well, we had a big week on the road to the Kentucky Derby and with Triple Crown preps last weekend. We've got another big one this weekend. Looking for a review of last weekend's races. We're not going to provide that here, but maybe my prep school blog, amongst other things, up on the First Bet and Xpressbet blogs are the place to go. But we're going to look forward. We're going to look forward to the San Felipe at Santa Anita Park, prep for the Santa Anita Derby, and the Tampa Bay Derby, a prep for itself. So we will talk all that and a little bit more up next on Horse Sense.
Welcome back to another episode of Horse Sense. As always, I'm Bailey Armour, joined alongside New Jersey's biggest hat fanatic, Scott Shapiro, going through his collection here on this next week as we head towards the first Saturday in May. We've got two more Triple Crown preps on the calendar this Saturday, like Scott mentioned, Tampa Bay Derby at Tampa Bay Downs and the San Felipe out at Santa Anita on Big Cap Day this Saturday. So those two races, of course, will be the next installments in our money back special series that we've been running, where you can get $10 back if your horse finishes second or third, only from Xpressbet and First Bet. And then we're bringing back the Exactathon promotion that we've run. Some of you may have seen here in the past for the Big Cap card at Santa Anita. This one is a $5,000 total prize pool with $4,000 going to players who hit 5 or more exactas out of, I'm pretty sure it's 11 races on that card. Correct me if I'm wrong. 11. So 5 out of 11 to get the 4,000. And then if you hit the most exactas on the card, you'll win your share of an extra $1,000. So $5,000 up for grabs there. After that, Santa Anita handicap card goes off with some older horses returning. Plenty of stakes action on that one, and one that I am personally looking forward to. What about you, Scott?
I'm looking forward to both cards, but definitely out west where I'll have a full card analysis. Santa Anita up on probably up tomorrow at some point, tomorrow being Friday. And Friday is also a big day in terms of the last chance to qualify for something we're really excited for at Xpressbet. That's the Ultimate Betting Challenge. All the races at Santa Anita, all the races at Gulfstream eligible. $6,000 buy-in, $5,000 goes to your bankroll. $1,000 goes to the pool. And that Friday final qualifier is tomorrow. It depends when you watch it. It could be today.
Could be today. Who knows?
That's what I was trying to think. Wow. It depends when you watch this. But they're expecting to get $100,000 estimated in that prize pool. So it's a big tournament. I know some people have already qualified. I know some that will try to be getting in tomorrow. So we wish everybody the best of luck for that. Well, the big one out west is the San Felipe. Of course, 50 points to the winner on the road to the Kentucky Derby as the Triple Crown prep season heats up more, Bailey. We're, as we said, of course, looking forward to the big cap card out there. And the San Felipe goes as race number 8. And as you mentioned, that 11 race card, it would kick off the, it will kick off the late pick 4 there. And you've got the big cap to follow. And look, I mean, let's be honest. This is a race where the morning line suggests that it's a 2-horse race, kind of, with So Happy at 2-1 and Brandon even money. Everybody else 9-2 or higher. But I kind of expect it to get out bet almost like a 1-horse race. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you think. I mean, I think I'd be very surprised if Brandon isn't odds on in here, regardless of result. He's the $3 million horse, Bailey, of course, that you know about. We all know about because he finished third in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile after winning the Del Mar Futurity, but he hasn't raced since. He's never won at 2 turns. So I think the big question here is, how good is he? Is he going to be better or as good as a 3-year-old? That's always a big question. So it's a tough race to decipher because you have to make a call on Brandt the way I see it, but I'm going to throw it to you.
Well, I was going through the field, agree with your assessment that it's pretty much a 1-horse, will be bet like a 1-horse race in terms of brand, basically. I think my biggest question here, which maybe sounds obvious to me, but I would like your take on said answer to the question. Do we get the fairest evaluation of him based on his last 3 races or his last 6 workouts? He's been off since the Breeders' Cup Juvenile when he finished 3rd behind Ted Noffey and Mr. AP. Ted Nafi, obviously not on the Triple Crown Trail anymore, came back into training January 22nd at Santa Anita and has been working 4, 6, 5 furlongs since then. I know what I would do and probably how I feel, but can you help me answer that question?
Yeah, sure. I will be interested to hear how you complete my sentence.
Okay.
Talk about it as well. I think there's nothing to worry about in terms of the break, because this is what happens to the best horses after, their fall race. They take time off, they freshen up, and they try to peak for the Triple Crown. Particularly, they try to go, a lot of times third off the layout for the Derby. And he hasn't skipped it. Nothing's gone wrong according to what I can see. He just came back and he's been working every 7 days since, right? Or 8, whatever, one of them was a day break, but that's not
Yeah.
true. He had the good gate work 2 back, and then a maintenance drill for Bob. I mean, for most guys, it would be a pretty quick work, but 5 furlongs March 1st. So to me, that's not really a factor. Bob will have them ready off the break. It's just a matter of, as a 2-year-old, these horses that get caught up to by 3-year-olds, are they moving forward? Is he looking at horses? He's looking at horses in this race that have raced already this year. So there's just kind of the questions of that. But when it comes to the layoff, I wouldn't let that bother me, because this has probably been absolutely the plan all along to bring him back in this race. Ideally, bring him back, in the Santa Anita Derby, and then have him ready for the Kentucky Derby. So in terms of layoffs and whatnot, I would expect him to run his race. But I think my biggest concern is terms of, did others mature more than him during his time off? Is he going to run better? I don't, he ran well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but I don't know if it answered any questions.
I think that's how I see it too. Something that I've picked up from you and Jeremy Plunk, who we work with at Horse Player Now there a lot, is that 6 work minimum, basically, coming off of a layoff. I think that was something that I had probably, like, in hindsight, like in the back of your head, like, okay, you want to see a certain number of works, but we've really talked a lot about lately these 6 works before you come back into a race off a layoff like this. I'm definitely much more comfortable with this, like, winter layoff 2 to 3-year-old than I would be like 6 months from spring to fall. Basically, I think I would be much more hesitant to bet a horse being campaigned like that versus like this. Honestly, he seems like a pretty textbook fit and strong Bob Baffert training plan colt. Basically, I don't really have any concerns about his ability to fire coming off of that layoff, especially like you said with the 5 furlong work on March 1st and 59-4. Which was, very nice and exactly what I would want to see coming into this race. So I feel like the question is then going to be, especially if you're playing in the exactathon, like I will be trying to, who do you play in your exacta or your other tickets alongside underneath Brant?
Well, yeah, that's, I don't think Brant's a good bet in this spot as much as I think he's like the likeliest winner. So I could see taking the alternative, especially when you have the money back special opportunity, which is a different thing than the exactathon, because you have insurance. And I think the right horse to bet in that scenario. And if you're playing, whatever, exactas, maybe this is the answer as well for the underneath horse. But I thought Secured Freedom made the most sense.
That's mine too. I'm so excited.
So happy to me. Has to prove himself at 2 turns and is going to be the clear second choice in the chalk exacta. But Tente debuted in a race where the other Baffert got scratched. There wasn't much in there. I don't know. I mean, it was a 5-horse field. I didn't get the sense that he was a world beater. That doesn't mean he's not going to move forward. So to me, I'm looking elsewhere of those 2 that I expect to be the likeliest to take money. And Secured Freedom's last race was a lot better than it looks. He was 3 wide on the first turn, and he remained wide throughout. And he looked completely exhausted, yet tried hard after it looked like he was done. And I just think it bodes well for his chances as he moves forward here for Tim Yakteen. That was his first try at 2 turns. So for me, money back special offer. I'm betting the 3, Secured Freedom. I'll let others, make their decision on how they want to approach it based on what I said and what you said in terms of the exactathon.
Yeah, I love Secured Freedom. I think that he's a very, very good value play to go alongside with some of these. Patente, same owners as Corniche in my Googling, because I didn't really recognize this horse at first blush.
I think elected too, maybe, or one of the one of the bad one. There's been a couple good ones, but they don't.
They just had a filly win La Cañada, and they've had horses with Bob for a while. The Speedway stables.
2.4 million for this guy.
I know, yeah. And they've been at the sales with them for a while, but this one in terms of pedigree, Second Dam is a Grade 1 winner on grass, perfect sting. So I would like to see him try out some grass races out of Santa Anita personally. That's just my 2 cents. But yeah, Secured Freedom, a great play in the money back special, like you said, since you have that insurance. That's probably who I'd pick too, along with Brant.
Well, the Tampa Bay Derby will be the first, not by as much as you might think in terms of chronology, with the 2 Saturday Derby prep, Triple Crown prep, money back offer, prep opportunities, lots of things.
All of the above.
All of them. Yeah. The Tampa Bay Derby, for those that don't have it in front of them, 5:35 Eastern, while as the Santa Anita race, the San Felipe 6:41. So a little time in between, but it'll occur kind of with close to succession. But anyhow, Tampa Bay Derby's been won by trainer Todd Pletcher 6 times. Forgot to mention Bob Baffert won the San Felipe too many times to count, as most of those races are. But I think from a vertical wagering perspective, I think this is the race I am more attracted to of the 2. Partially the field size, partially a little bit more wide open. Let's see. I mean, when I checked it this morning, the morning lines were not up yet. Did you see them? I'm just curious.
I haven't seen them either.
Yeah, I'm checking right now to just see if that changed. They are up. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So my question is, how short of a price is further ado going to be first when I'm constructing these tickets? I think that's important. Because he's the horse, the bigger name horse, but I guess they're expecting Canaletto, no surprise, right? Based on our discussion of the Derby futures market, to take a lot of money as well, 5-2 on the line. Excuse me.
Some hiccup.
And outside of you got to scare me.
Maybe I'll scare you with my picks. We'll see what happens.
Well, there's not a ton of speed near is one thing I noticed, and then I think you got to, if you're constructing vertical tickets, or when I'm looking at, okay, can I find a value horse to key around? Maybe if it tries the first 2 spots or even the second, third spots, instead of, even if I like one of those top 2 horses, being all in on them, even if I want to include them. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it, just trying to get our conversation started, from looking at this kind of from building tickets, a vertical perspective. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts. We haven't really talked about this race at all beforehand.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this one. This one is kind of not really a head scratcher, but kind of a tough one for me. I mean, like you said, there's really no speed in the race. Canaletto's got to be the only one. And then you have like 6 horses that are going to fight to come from the end here, and they all can't do that at the same time. Canaletto was 15-1, if I remember correctly, in that Derby future wager, and I didn't see it then. But against this field, I definitely do see it. I wish I was going to get a better price than 5-2. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Overall, probably my top choice out of this field, but I wouldn't call him my top choice by a million. You know what I mean?
By a million, that's a very good barometer to use. So you really think Canaletto is just going to make an easy lead? I don't know if I see it. I think it's a tough post.
I think so.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe that'll be the plan with Pratt, right? I mean, the Puma hasn't broken that well. I'd be surprised on that. Further Ado was up close in the Keeneland race. Probably will be okay to sit. Power Shift with Johnny. I don't know. I just don't think Canaletto is this like speedball. You've got if he wants it, he could probably get it. But then you've got, kind of horses to the inside, Roger that Dana, Redland Rebels that have speed and a better post for it. So it's interesting. I mean, if Canaletto gets loose, we're really going to find out, because if he gets loose and doesn't finish the deal, it'll be pretty discouraging, right?
Yeah, if I'm wrong, I'm going to be really wrong, which is fine.
All the time to us, that's not a big deal. But for the horse, if I own the horse, I spent $1 million on him, I'd be more concerned if he put in a dud. But I don't know. Did you from a wagering perspective, whether it be exacta or trifecta? I mean, how did you think about before our conversation how you might want to bet it with Canaletto as your horse? I think you're going to want to key him on top either way, right?
Yeah, key him on top with probably, gun to my head as I'm looking at it right now, I would say Hulkamania and Power Shift. but you can hear the hesitancy in my voice to say that. Like,
So
this
further
is not
ado, you're worried about?
define worried about. I mean,
Or you think he's going to get over it? Well, to me,
I think it's get over bet.
I'm just a little bit, yeah, he's going to take a lot of money, but this Canaletto seems to be very steamy as well. So we'll see. I mean, I think further ado has to answer questions before I want to take a short price, only because he's been away for so long and his effort, you expected him to regress in the Kentucky Jockey Club, even though it was 7 weeks off after it. And he did. And I just kind of, you never know. That was a really fast race at Keeneland for a 2-year-old that day. You just never know how much that took out of him long term. So he kind of has to prove it to me from a betting perspective. But for me, I'm not willing to just toss him. Same with Canaletto, but I'm just going to build my wagers around Power Shift, who I think in there. I thought his race was very professional. I think he's I don't think he's going to be on the lead, but I think he's got some tactical speed. And when Johnny V is in a spot where he can be involved early, he's going to be. And they was 13.5 lengths back on this racetrack, and Emerging Market's the one that beat him for Chad. He's going to go to the Louisiana Derby. So I think, as probably a clear-cut third or fourth choice in here, I'm just kind of looking around, and I think, maybe worthy of a win bet with Power Shift, but more so, I think I'm going to build trifecta tickets with him needing to finish first or second, and maybe kind of try to get I think Talkin has a shot to, what's his morning line? I like them to have a shot to hit the board in the race.
Talkin is 15-1.
Yeah, so Talkin would make some sense. Hulkamania to me, I mean, 20-1 seems high, but yeah, I mean, I thought he beat a very suspect field that day. I think this is a big step up, but I can't knock the price there. And I think that Puma's has taken a lot of money in his first 2 starts. He's kind of a steamy horse in general. So I expect him to probably be the next choice, but it'll probably be further ado, Canaletto, Power Shift, Puma, everybody else.
I think Talkin is going to be my money back special play for the insurance there. I do like him out of the wheat from the chaff of this field, but
well, what's wrong with Canaletto? If you like him to win the race because of his price,
yeah.
Well, this is how you learn to, this is what I do when I watch content, and I'm speaking to the viewers, not you, Bailey. This is how you cap a capper. So all picks aren't made the same. You got to try to read their body. Sometimes it's less obvious, That was a very obvious give that you don't have a strong opinion. Twice during the sequence. So
yeah,
take it with a grain of salt. It's our job to cap these races. I think personally, I use the word love or things like that when I really am excited about betting a horse.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't use those gushing words, and then I'll say it if I have no opinion. And I think, it's hard not to have some sort of opinion in these Derby preps, though, or these Triple Crown preps,
As always, thank you so much for watching another episode of Horse Sense, covering the San Felipe out at Santa Anita on the Big Cap card and the Tampa Bay Derby this week. 2 back-to-back Triple Crown prep races on Saturday, late afternoon, early evening, depending on when you eat your dinner time. Let us know if you've got any exacta plays on that Big Cap card out at Santa Anita, like I mentioned, in the $5,000 exactathon. I know what I like, and Scott's blog will be out a little bit later this week, depending on when you watch this, but certainly up before post time. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the comments, and good luck this weekend from HorseSense.